Welcome back, people watching. I hope you read the disclaimer, and today's video is going to be very painful. I know the last upload was rather lighthearted and more for entertainment purposes, but this video is going to get rather extreme and sensitive, and I really don't want to beat around the bush for too long here. So yesterday, or I guess like 2 days ago from when you're watching this, I was just chilling in my bed at like midnight or something, ready to go to sleep, when I got notified that Dante started streaming and he covered the allegations against Tokyo's Revenge. It was the first time I ever heard about them. It was just absolutely disappointing to watch, and now I have looked thoroughly into this entire situation, so I will give you people a compelling overview of the allegations and express my personal thoughts on it as well. Since really, other than Dante that had close ties with Tokyo anyway, barely anyone is really covering this entire situation. There are basically no media articles written about it at the time of recording, which really shocks me, so I want to make more people aware of this whole situation, and I'm just genuinely so disappointed at a person I really used to look up to. So I definitely feel like giving my 2 cents on this, and I will be showing most of the proof, since it's important that people are aware of the severity of his actions. So if you haven't seen it already, Tokyo's Revenge has been exposed over on Instagram for grooming and making sexual remarks towards little children with a flood of DMs by multiple brave victims who came forward, and we'll be covering all of that in this video. But first, I'm gonna give the people that don't already know Tokyo's Revenge a quick rundown of who he is and of the events leading up to this entire situation. But if you're already familiar with all that, I should have this video in chapters, so feel free to just skip to the allegations part. I'll have it timestamped in the description, and I probably have the exact time on screen as well. So in case you're unaware of who Tokyo's Revenge actually is, he's an American rapper whose music is heavily influenced by the late XXXTentacion that had been grinding in the underground for some time and originally blew up in 2019 with the track Good Morning Tokyo, which is still his biggest release to this day, casually sitting on top of his profile with over 160 million streams in total. And once we get to the allegations, you see how absolutely terrible this line in the track has aged. He really had no age restriction on these services. Anyway, he has been on the rise ever since. I'd say he built himself a rather loyal fanbase over time with new releases, while not quite as high as Good Morning Tokyo, still consistently gathering around 5 million plays each. He really did kind of find his own lane, even getting features with 24K Golden and the Kid Leroy, who are also just absolutely popping right now, and that 24K Golden track was straight heat, man. So there was definitely an appeal to his music, and I myself did really mess with it a lot, which makes the following so much more painful. But first, events leading up to this, I'm gonna just touch on this really quick in order to cover this whole situation chronologically, but just a little bit over a month ago, Tokyo was actually caught in quite some drama as he had been attacked by hip-hop commentator Progress.
Hey guys, it's your boy Progress.
Bro, what the fuck happened to you? You aged like 5 years. In a video trying to expose him as an industry plant obviously being someone that claims to have come up organically, but who in reality had a manufactured career with a fake come story built for them by their own record label. And surprisingly, I think Tokyo's Revenge actually came out on top in the end, seeing that after Progress' first video he released a comment which had gained a lot of support at the time, including mine, and for the most part turned people against Progress. Progress can definitely completely tear apart artists if he has conclusive evidence against them, but in Tokyo's video he definitely seemed like he was just reaching and making a lot of questionable conclusions and interpretations from far-fetched indicators. So despite Progress being able to basically kill rappers' careers before, this video had basically no effect on Tokyo. Progress even reached out and made up with him on Discord. Oh, a rapper that uses Discord actively? I'm sure that's not foreshadowing at all. And Progress released a second video where he does correct some initial stuff he might have gotten not entirely right, and this whole controversy, drama, whatever, was pretty much done for. And I myself and many others thought Tokyo might finally be able to catch a break. I even thought about making a video defending Tokyo's Revenge after Progress originally dropped his first upload, and thank God I didn't, because that would have aged so incredibly poorly. But yeah, this whole industry plant drama, I think Tokyo came out on top. But sadly it didn't last for long, so let's actually move on to the allegations now. So now that you know the backstory, this Instagram user that goes by the name of @GTHstar, who is 15 years old, posted this. You can pause the video if you want to have a look at it by yourself, and I'll also have it linked in the description as well, but we are just gonna go over the most important parts. So trigger warning, grooming and pedophilia. I've known Tokyo for roughly 3 years and used to address him as my best friend. Tokyo is 22 till 24, I am a soft sophomore in high school, 15 currently. Okay, already looking extremely bad, since that means we have a timeline where he is 22 and she was 12 or 13 when they first interacted with each other, which is of course absolutely disgusting. He was constantly making random remarks about how he was horny and needed attention. He's had phone sex with a mutual of mine who's a minor as well. The link in my bio is a Dropbox filled with evidence of him being weird to multiple girls. You, word that I can't say, never change, has more in-depth screenshots, etc. I just wanted to share my personal experience with him. The screenshots that include the name Zaza are mine. When I sent regular photos of my face in a group chat I was with him, he'd be like, "Stop, I'm horny," and he'd do worse to other girls. I've also been told he pays off people so they don't speak out. Again, this is all some very damning information. I do of course feel incredibly bad for the victims, and I'm obviously disgusted at his actions, and there's compelling proof for all that and the claims made here. So it's really not looking too bright for Tokyo's revenge here, but we'll first read through the entire thing before we get into all the proof screenshots like I previously said. He has no self-control and he flirted with every female in group chats. I was in with him, regardless of their age. There was a point in time where me and him weren't on speaking terms, and I'd have mental breakdowns over the fact that he wasn't in my life. I realized it was because he manipulated me and made me feel the need to be dependent on him. He's blocked. I don't want to talk to that N-word, and I don't want him on my socials. Insensitive ass comments will get your ass blocked. I don't give a fuck. This shit was wrong and fucked me up. Okay, so this is all obviously some very harsh claims, but before we make our mind up, we definitely have to look at the evidence, and boy is there a lot to go through. This entire post came with a lot of screenshots backed by multiple sources of little girls and a massive amount of Dropbox information, as well as the other Insta account where additional DMs were posted. So we're going to go over the most essential screenshots, and when you're reading those, keep in mind that you are looking at a conversation between a 13-year-old child and a 22-plus-year-old man. These first screenshots are really just the tip of the iceberg if we're being real, and it's just so disappointing to see. I mean, just with the entire amount of screenshots that were being provided here, I don't think Tokyo's side is looking too good right now, especially since after all of this information came out, he even privated his own Instagram, and I just think it's incredibly disappointing to witness. I mean, I wasn't like a stan or anything, but I genuinely used to listen a shit ton to this man's music and did of course kinda look up to him like many others did as well, even though not to the extent others might have. And this is just such a huge mix of emotions of disappointment and letdown. Obviously, it just goes to show that whoever you might look up to, you never know them well enough for you to be sure that they are not a disgusting creature behind the scenes. And I do feel bad because there for sure were people that really idolized this man and are now completely shattered. Like, bro, imagine if Sunny were here. Like, RIP to the man, but he also be so hella disappointed right now. Like, I covered people like Minilad or Call Me Carson before on this channel, but I never interacted with those two like at all before. But if someone gets exposed who you actually were a fan of, or at least a casual enjoyer of, yeah, that just hits differently, I guess. Like, just look at this man. A daddy's little princess? In no way, shape, or form should a 22-year-old man ever be able to send this to a 13-year-old girl. There's no way you can defend Tokyo here. Even Dante, who Tokyo was homies with, wasn't able to defend him anymore, and it's just barely possible, man. Just with the sheer amount of victims that bravely came forward and the huge pile of evidence stacked against him. I mean, come on, man, you're talking to a child. I sadly do refuse to support him anymore after this. Everyone defending him is just standing so hard that they are willing to overlook all of this information just to support a child groomer, or they haven't seen the full extent of these messages yet. Which is why videos like mine exist, basically. I mean, screenshots like this confirm that yes, indeed, he was grooming these children. Like, bro, what the fuck, man? I used to bump your shit like crazy, and here you are telling her that you want to rearrange her tummy while she's 13. If you have to say tummy and not stomach, you know you're talking to a fucking child. This is just so extremely revolting. Like, I can't even look at freshman girls as not children, even though I'm like way younger than Tokyo, and there are seniors dating freshmen all the time, which is weird. But here you have a dude in his 20s talking to someone who was in middle school at that time. The only thing worse than people desperately defending him or just not wanting to admit the harsh reality are people that blame the victim. I've seen so many comments saying like, oh, she knew she was talking to an adult, she wanted this to happen, she wanted to ruin his career. And no, very clearly, think back to when you were 13 or 14. Imagine your favorite artist adding you on Snapchat or Instagram or wherever and actually talking to you. Like, that most people would even now still stay in contact with them regardless of what they're doing, and even more so a 13-year-old child that has no idea what this person is really doing to them. She just wanted to interact with him, man, and it's so understandable and relatable, and at that age you have no idea about what he actually does to you. I mean, of course you have this kind of dynamic. Take this as a reference. Imagine you at 14 and your favorite musician or actor or whoever telling you all this. Of course you think he's gonna make you famous, or at the very least that you'd be friends with a famous person, so you're going to continue interacting with him, and for him to just take advantage of this situation in order to groom a child, yeah, that's just absolutely revolting. So the girl definitely had zero ill intent, and I'm 100% against victim blaming here. Oh my god, okay, this is not a video I enjoy making, let me tell you. This is absolutely painful to witness. I mean, he and his squad are literally saying age is just a number. Man, how can anyone even unironically say that anymore? And what makes this so revolting is that, you know, he could have had other women. He's a famous rapper, for fuck's sake. He could have like every bitch he wants, but he's going for kids instead, which tells you that he's most likely, you know, into kids. I mean, to draw a parallel to Call Me Carson here, in comparison to Minilad and Tokyo, he didn't have the same possibilities or dating experience than them, which just goes to show if you abuse your fame in order to receive sexual acts from kids, yeah, you're probably a terrible person and should not have that big of a platform if you abuse it this way. I mean, he literally fucking got exposed and roasted on his own goddamn Discord by his own fans. They were so disappointed, man.
Lying, right? Him. Hell yeah. Okay, is this or is this not grooming? I'm going to, on your 18th birthday, I'm going to rearrange your stomach. Yes or no, is that not grooming? Yes or no?
OD,
just answer the question.
OD grooming.
Is that not grooming, Tokyo? Yes or no?
That's your choice. Literally, come on.
Is that not grooming? Yes or no?
Hey,
I said
bro.
yes or no. It doesn't look good if you don't answer the question. I asked a yes or no question. It's not that hard to answer.
I'll link the full combo in the description, by the way. I mean, it has become pretty clear at this point that Tokyo is just a terrible person behind the scenes and a groomer. One aspect that I especially despise here is that he probably thought because of his fame he would have the ability to get away with it. You can see it in a lot of people that get exposed for that kind of stuff, regardless of how revolting their actions truly were. They always have some kind of fans left that will support them to their death. And obviously there's that whole making up allegations for clout thing, which is an entirely different conversation, but as a matter of fact, a lot of celebrities get away with that kind of stuff if their victims are lacking conclusive proof, which is definitely a huge problem currently. It are situations like this that keep bringing you down to the reality that your favorite musician or whoever is not always who he portrays himself to be in his songs. Like, just goddamn fucking shit! I even saw a video he sent to one of the children of him naked in his bathroom with just a tiny towel covering up his... I definitely won't show that, but it's linked, and it just goes to show how disgusting this man really was behind the scenes. And on this account with the name, I definitely won't say out loud, many new victims that came forward with screenshots like this, and this one on their story. Yeah, it's pretty much set in stone here. I don't think he could ever realistically dispute his claims anymore. I mean, he basically admitted it in this leaked apology text, so this situation is as good as done for him. There's really only one aspect he could potentially dispute, which is that the victims who came forward claimed that he pays victims off, which is definitely a possibility but can't be confirmed yet. They only provided this screenshot, and Andante on stream did actually claim that Tokyo on a call told him that he sent the money for a different reason while not specifying why. It's definitely possible that this was just added to make him look worse, since there isn't any context provided other than that one screenshot we looked at, and it's weird that he would only dispute this one claim, but judging by all we know by now, I think it's definitely a possibility, but just hasn't been confirmed yet. Alright, that was most of the screenshots I could show, and holy shit, man, that was a lot. He definitely betrayed all of his supporters' trust with his actions, and I personally definitely won't continue listening to his music, as I just simply refuse to support his behavior. The question here is, what should he do at this point? I mean, he can't really pretend he's innocent or something because of the sheer amount of evidence stacked against him, so he just has to apologize to the victims and his fans publicly and leave the internet for a while, or go to therapy or something along those lines, since from what I've seen, the victims don't want anything to do with him anymore, and they most likely won't accept a simple apology, and neither will his fans, since this can just be forgotten forgotten by a simple "I'm sorry," but he still needs to show regret for his past behavior and get his act together. Whenever he releases music, people are just gonna be screaming, why is this pedo still here doing this, doing that? So if he continues to push on, the road will be extremely hard to walk, and I do think he just needs to get off the internet for a while. So in conclusion, yeah, I'm not gonna listen to his shit anymore. I don't think Tokyo can be defended at all at this point, and we definitely need to spread awareness that this guy is essentially a child groomer. I'm just incredibly disappointed because I did really bump his shit a lot, so it's really painful that I had to make this video. I hope you're now informed about the situation and know what's going on. Please don't send harassment to anyone involved. You're not making things better by harassing people. So if you want to see more content of mine, this video was kind of like a bummer video that had more of a serious tone, just because of the severity of the allegations here, but I usually make more lighthearted content. So if you're down with that, please leave a subscription down below. It would really mean a lot to me. Also follow me on Twitter at Materwelon. Like this video if you haven't already, it helps out a lot. And yeah, just as a last message, don't idolize people that you barely know, because there could always be something shady going on behind the scenes.